Yeah, this is pretty much the attitude of the U.S. government right now. Now, in all seriousness, I want to talk about the danger to liberty that this whole coronavirus panic poses. Now, I have a theory about the coronavirus, and I think there may be some kind of connection to this. Now, the sun finally started coming out here after weeks of cloud city, rain, and mist. And I have not obviously recently seen a plane because it's been too cloudy, but now that it starts clearing up, I see this. Definitely kind of gives rise to the chemtrail argument. I don't know. Seems to give it some kind of validity. And I've been seeing these things past couple months before all this rain and clouds, so can't help but wonder if this is why it's been so heavily clouded for so long and rainy and misty. Normally when it's as cloudy as it is, or has been lately, it rains very hard. The past week or two, which I'm grateful for it, that it did not rain that hard. It's only misted and rained a little bit here and there, but not really poured. I mean, a lot anyway. At least not most days. And yet it's been heavily clouded. So it makes me wonder, man. Makes me wonder. What do you know? Not even an hour passed after those trails were seen in the sky, and the clouds are back, blocking the sun, starting to take hold of the sky again. Guess those fellas were behind on the job today. That's why the sun was able to get through for a brief amount of time. And sure enough, after seeing those trails in the sky, hard and heavy rain came, and the cloud cover resumed. And I know I said it hadn't rained hard or a whole lot during that month-plus long span of cloud cover, but it did rain sporadically or lightly here and there. However, the last week or so, it rained pretty hard and poured so much that it caused some people to have flooding issues. And as I was driving down the road, I heard the radio, the person on the radio talking about the forecast and how the coming rain and cloud cover was going to cause the temperatures to drop. And I thought, man, what a coincidence at a time that we're having a virus pandemic and at a time when we were projected to have an early, warmer spring, that this is to happen. I mean, considering that viruses typically don't live as long or thrive as well in warmer, hotter, more humid climates. Could be a coincidence, maybe not, I don't know. But I did think it was kind of strange. No, in all seriousness, I do think there's some merit in what's been said about chemtrails and all that kind of stuff. I mean, there's multiple videos of people from non-governmental organizations and governmental organizations talking about cloud seeding and everything else. Whether or not that has anything to do with them trying to keep the temperature down so this virus thrives longer, I don't know. But I do know that there's definitely something up with this coronavirus. It's not just some natural virus that happened on its own. Anytime there's a crisis, whether it be crime, terrorism, you name it, the government always uses that as an excuse to take your freedoms and grow their own power. This coronavirus is no different. So I'm not saying it's fake. I'm not saying it's not real. I'm just saying I think the government is, at a minimum, exploiting and using this crisis to grow their own power and infringe on your liberties. And at worst, they had involvement in pushing it. Whether this is a bioweapon, I don't know. I don't know if this is a bioweapon meant to do something to our bodies long term that we don't even know yet, or if this is just something they're pushing so they can use it as an excuse to crash the economy and fully implement the New World Order. I don't know what their end game is with this specific virus, but I do know that something is definitely up. You know, because you have all these people on Facebook and, you know, and on the media shaming people for dare going out in public, talking about how they went by, you know, Lowe's or Ace Hardware or Home Depot, and so all these people there, it was jam-packed. Last I checked, trendies and teenagers weren't fucking hanging out at Lowe's and Ace Hardware because it was the cool thing to do. I mean, it's not a shopping mall. The shopping malls have already been closed down. Restaurants are only doing takeout. Theaters are closed down. A lot of hangouts, zoos, and stuff like that, a lot of attractions, indoors and outdoors, have been closed down. I mean, what more do you sheeple want? If people are going to places like Lowe's or Ace Hardware, it's because they need shit for their house to keep it maintained. But people want to sit here and, because of that, beg for a government boot on their throats and beg for Big Daddy government to come issue some kind of order to make everybody stay at home and force them to stay home and all this nonsense. Meanwhile, us and law enforcement are still getting sent to people's homes for disorders because people can't fucking get along, and if they are going to duke it out, just do it without calling the fucking cops. You know, I mean, you know, so then we go there, and if someone there has it, and we get those germs, and then go to the next call, next house, then it's still getting spread, even if everybody's staying home. You know, because it takes so long before you even know you have it, you know, before you show symptoms. But I digress. I don't want to go into that right now. But I just want to say there's definitely something up with this. And my question is this to all the people demanding Big Daddy government come in and put a government boot on everyone's throats and restrict their movement, restrict their rights, so we can avoid this scary virus. They're saying it's going to come back in the fall. So what are we going to do then? Are we going to shut down the whole economy and imprison everyone in their homes every year, fall through spring? 75% of the years that we're going to do every year, end of September through June, we're going to sit here and imprison people to their homes and shut down the entire economy, except for the summer. I mean, really, what's y'all's solution to this? Y'all are just reacting out of fear. I'm not saying the coronavirus isn't real. I'm not saying that it's not something to be scared of or worried about. However, there is something far scarier than the coronavirus, and that is giving up your basic liberties and rights to a government who is more than happy to take advantage of the situation. A Great Depression, another Great Depression, could be far scarier than the coronavirus. Again, I don't know what their end game is with it exactly. It could be a bioweapon. It could just be something they're using as an excuse to grow the government and trample all over your rights. I don't know. But I do know that giving in to fear only gives them what they want. And I do know that what they want is far scarier than any virus. So yeah, we should all be taking steps to social distance and, you know, mitigate the risk of contracting this virus. I don't disagree with that. But to sit here and beg for Big Daddy government to force everybody into their homes and fine people if they're going anywhere that's not necessary, that's just absurd and ridiculous and is completely un-American, completely unconstitutional. And if that's how you feel, you would make a great citizen in North Korea, not the United States of America. That's not what this country was founded on. No one said, hey, none of this counts if people get sick, right, when the Constitution was written. And if you're that timid, if you're that fickle, if you're that cowardly, then you don't belong in America to begin with. Again, I'm completely fine with the government taking steps to mitigate risk, you know, in terms of international travel and so on. But when you talk about confining people to their homes and punishing them for dare leaving the home, for, you know, going somewhere that you don't think is necessary, how about you mind your own fucking business and stop trying to be the necessity police? There's nothing wrong with people getting out outside, which I've seen people complain about people going to parks and hiking trails. Yeah, you might not want to congregate around a playground in close quarters, but if people are hitting trails and spreading out, I don't see what the big deal about that is. I mean, if you look, ultimately, if you look at history, I mean, there's viruses, and there's only so much human beings can do to mitigate that, to mitigate the risk of that. I mean, you people act like Big Daddy government is God and they're going to save you. Government can't save you. They can do the same things you can do as an individual, mitigate risk when it comes to something like this. That's it. Ultimately, if this virus is meant to spread, it's going to spread. All you can do is mitigate risk, but don't beg for a government. But don't beg Big Daddy government to come put a boot on the throat of your neighbor and everyone else just to make you feel safe. Grow up and stop being ruled by fear. That's not to say that I don't feel for the people who have been affected by the virus. But accept reality. Don't give in to fear and make things worse. No, it's not the flu, but it's also not the bubonic plague either.